Let's begin by getting a check on what's making news in the markets. With all the hustle and bustle of the holidays, you may have missed a few things, but the big story continues to be the grain rally. March 2021 corn futures added 23% in value during 2020, the largest annual price gain for a corn futures contract in 10 years. As for soybean futures, they closed out 2020 by rising 37%, the largest annual gain for a soybean futures contract since 2007. Darin Fessler of Lakefront Futures and Options joined me this week to discuss it.
The number one question is, where's the markets going? What do we do for old crop at this point? What do we do for new crop? And really, I think that the approach that I've always taken to the markets is kind of the baseball analogy. Singles and doubles win a lot of games. They win a lot of championships. And, yes, it's sexy to try to hit the home run and hit the grand slam. And those do make the highlights. There's no question about it. But when you are managing the price risk here, you got to be somewhat realistic of where this market could go. Even though we are bullish, this market could go tremendously higher. But if you scale along the way and hit those doubles along the way and play the average game, you're going to come out ahead here instead of just holding out for the high prices, because nobody knows where the high is. Nobody knows where the low is. So if you're just scaling in here as we go along here, and obviously if you have dryland acres, you obviously want to be probably utilizing some paper more to scale in on some of those sales. But if you have the irrigation, you're feeling comfortable where the crop is, you should be comfortable selling into some cash rallies here.
I saw that you tweeted the other day that in markets like this, it's important to keep emotions in check and don't get complacent. Maybe advice that people need to hear these days, huh?
It completely, yeah. You see markets like this. Everyone's excited. It can never go down. And I'll be the last one to talk down a bullish market. I want higher prices for producers. But as we had seen in, even a short time ago, 2012, 2013, sometimes those higher prices have some other ramifications. You're already starting to see that in the cash rents on some parts of the country. So just keep those emotions in check. If you're doing that and scaling in, you're going to have a very, very good 21.
All right, so Darin, I got to ask, do you think rising prices continue into 2021, or are we due for a correction here? What's your best guess?
I think, how much we've come here, we're definitely probably overdue for a correction here. You look at where the managed money is. We're long over 300-some thousand contracts on the corn. You're pushing almost 200,000 on the beans. If you extrapolate that out here, we're long 1.6 billion bushels on corn, almost a billion bushels on the beans. So to see a little bit of a correction here would not shock me here. We still have a lot of uncertainty in South America. Obviously, the weather here, we don't know what's going to happen this summer. The dryness and the drought maps seem like they continue to move eastward. So there could be a lot of fireworks in this market. But even if you do have a correction in these type of markets, I think they're going to be sharp. I think they're going to be violent. You're like, whoa, what the heck happened to the market one week? But that does not mean that this market is bearish. We could still have a correction in an overall longer-term bullish market. You look at the overall commodity complex, I do think 21 is going to be a year for commodities, but you, as a person who's managing risk and advising clients, you still got to scale in here. And that's what I'm trying to say for 21. Scale in here. Don't try to get emotions in your way of making a bad, poor decision. And a manager of a farm is only as good as their risk management. You can be the best producer out there, but if you can't manage that risk and take advantage of 50, 60 cent moves in corn because you're thinking, oh, it's going to go another $1 higher, then so be it. If it goes another $1 higher, you can scale into more. And it comes back to that averaging the prices out. And I think that's the story of 21. It will be a good year if one's managing risk properly.
And we've got a big USDA report coming out on Tuesday. Remind us of the significance of that report and some of the things that you're going to be watching with it.
Next Tuesday's report is a massive report. If you look at the way the corn spreads have been reacting here, there's no way, in my estimation, we're trading a 1.7 billion carryout. Probably the same thing can be said for the beans. We're probably more than likely near 100 million, maybe a little bit under 100 million in carryout. Now, all that is going to come down to, we have some really good shipments, really good sales on the books. Now, whether we actually ship those bushels is another story here. But I do think if Brazil has a good month weather-wise, a good crop is going to come from Brazil. How does the U.S. exports look going forward once the Brazilian crop comes online? But I look for some favorable numbers in Tuesday's WASI report, but is it priced in, or does it matter? Because the market doesn't seem like anything bearish can stop it, anything bullish can't stop it. So it could be one of those stories where we could see a bullish report, maybe even a bearish report, and it may not matter because the momentum and the fund movement and money flow in the commodity, it's there and it's strong enough to push these things higher.
Okay, last question, Darin. Any predictions that you'd like to leave us with for 2021?
I think that it's going to be a year, at least the first 6 months of 21, it's going to be a year full of volatility. And when there's volatility, there's going to come a lot of opportunities, both for the bulls and the bears here. But just keep in mind, if you are a producer, you're naturally long every single day of the week. So your natural long position can be offset with some short-term opportunities on pullbacks. But keep in mind, I think that this market is kind of moving in towards an inflationary type of trade here. Got to watch the US dollar. How does that turn out in the first quarter of 21? Does it have like because right now, technically, it's in a falling wedge technical pattern. It should be starting to break out here. But with the money printing going on, it's going to probably see a little bit of pressure still.